think technology is the thing that causes these big step changes in civilization. So obviously you've got things like, say, the Gutenberg press, before which
Right.
it was very difficult to get books. They were
Yes.
very rare. Even if you had a thirst for knowledge, you really couldn't do anything about it because there were very few books to read. So, and the internet is something beyond the Gutenberg press, I think. But you know, it's
fantastic. I
Yeah.
love it that you have a sense of humor, because a guy as important as you who makes changes
Yeah.
could use your powers for evil and not good. The fact
yeah,
that
absolutely.
you could.
I would, of course, I would. Yeah, never use them for evil. That
No,
would be
I
crazy.
know. But the way I know that is because you have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
You really do.
I
you
aspire
like,
to,
yeah,
yeah.
you like laughing. You like to be funny.
I kill me.
Right. Princes and queens and presidents. It's really the people in tech who change the world. They're the people who deal the cards. Whether it's fire or electricity, for good or bad, or the cotton gin, or the iPhone, or the atom bomb, those are the cards, and the rest of us just play it. Would you agree with that assessment?
When I first saw the internet coming into being in a way that the general public could use it, it felt like the humanity as a whole was developing a nervous system. So previously, the way the information would travel would be by osmosis, one person to another, or one person calling another. But the access to information was very limited. Now with the internet, it's like having a nervous system. It's like any part of humanity has access to almost all the information of humanity. Like you could be in the where it's coming from. I think it's actually been a long time brewing, in that it's, I think it's been going on for a while. The amount of indoctrination that's happening in schools and universities is, I think, far beyond what parents realize. And I sort of came to realize this somewhat late. The experience that we had in high school and college is not the experience that kids today are having. We must protect free speech, and free speech only matters. It's only relevant when it's someone you don't like saying something you don't like, because obviously for speech that you like is
Yes.
you know, that's easy. So it's the thing about censorship is that, sure, for those who would advocate it, just remember at some point that will be turned on you. The amount of indoctrination that's happening in schools and universities is, I think, far beyond what parents realize. And I sort of came to realize this somewhat late. The experience that we had in high school and college is not the experience that kids today are having. High school and college is not the experience that kids today are having, and hasn't been for, I don't know, 10 years, maybe 20 years. So.
Aren't parents themselves also a big part of the problem?
Well, I suppose in some cases that parents, but I think like the parents are just generally not aware of what their kids are being told, or what they're not being told.
They're letting the kids think that they're, that is the woke mind virus, exactly. Yeah.
No, exactly. It's like, you know, slavery is obviously a horrific institution, but we should still know more about George Washington than that.
And by the way, one that was practiced all over the world forever, since the beginning of time, by every race, including people of color. I'm sorry to tell you that. It's huge in the Bible.
And we're getting a cap with that.
And I'm glad, and I like it that the mayor likes my jokes. But the reason I don't do it anymore is because the mob of Mean Girls is still there. And that has not changed.
No,
it's too easy to get canceled. And I don't even know what pisses them off. They're so nuts, these kids. I feel like I'm walking on a roof with a blindfold. I could fall off any time.
Yeah.
Now, that was the most innocuous thing, but it's like, you know, I said, George, what you did when you took over, when you started Tesla, you lived at the factory, right? I feel like that's your pattern. You get into this thing, and then you got to live at the factory to make it work.
Yeah.
You've been back you moved to Texas, then you went back up to San Francisco because of Twitter.
I was living in the library of Twitter for a while. Yes.
Well,
I think things are reasonably stabilized right now. It was just on the fast track to bankruptcy. See, Ray Kurzweil's prediction for artificial superintelligence is 2029. He's not far wrong.
right. But he doesn't think it's a problem, whereas people like you and Bill Gates and Stephen Hawking think it's a problem.
Yeah, it depends. If some people want to live forever or for a much longer period of time, and they see AI as the only way to, or digital superintelligence as the only thing that can figure out how to get them to live forever, I think Kurzweil is in that category. So he would prefer to have AI. I think we should have some sort of regulatory oversight. So, for anything that is a danger to the public, if it's sort of aircraft, cars, food and drug and whatnot, we've got some regulatory oversight, like a referee, essentially, and making sure that companies don't cut corners. So I think that if one agrees that AI is a potential risk to the public, then there should be some regulatory body that oversees what companies are doing so that they don't cut corners and potentially do something very dangerous. That's